we'll start with chapter number 2. Okay, now if you remember, chapter number 2 is all about financial and accounting system. I told you that after you understand chapter number 3, now chapter number 2 will give you a good briefing about how you do accounts, how you do accounting on information system. Okay, if you remember, I started this chapter with the concept of tally. Try to remember. Okay, I taught you the tally first. In that, I told you 4 gateways are there. Remember 4 gateways? Remember, guys, 4 gateways: configuration, masters, transactions, and the fourth one was report. Okay, now if you remember, configurations are nothing but setting up of parameters for the software before we start using. That is what configurations. Then the second was masters. Now in that, I told you that there are two concepts. One is master data, another is non-master data. Master data which means data which will not change frequently. It may change, but it will not change frequently. And non-master data will change with every transaction. That was the concept of master and non-master data. Okay, now there was, if you remember, there are 4 types of masters: accounting masters, inventory masters, then remember which master? Payroll masters, and tax wala concept. Remember tax concept? There are 4 types of masters. Okay, I told you that the tax concept was not there in tally, if you remember very well. Okay, now so when you start with this chapter, okay, initial part was R, and we started this chapter from this part: concepts in computerized accounting system. Now, before going here, also I'm telling you that after masters we have done transactions. There were 3 types of transactions: accounting, inventory, and payroll. In every accounting, there was total 9 different types of vouchers. Remember, accounting vouchers: purchase, sales, payment, receipt, debit note, credit note, contra, journal, memorandum. Then inventory, there were 6 types of transactions: purchase order, sales order, receipt note, delivery note, stock journal, physical stock. And in payroll, there were 2: payroll and attendance. And after that, we started entering the actual data. And then finally, we went for the reports. That was the briefing of tally, what we have learned in tally. Okay. Now, here you can start with master data and non-master data. In master data, data relatively permanent data: accounting, inventory, payroll, and statutory, that tax concepts. Okay, I told you that in tally, statutory master is not separately, but in all the big accounting software, it will be separate module. Okay, now master and non-master we have discussed. Accounting is nothing but your ledgers, grouping of ledgers. Inventory is nothing but all about stock items. Payroll is nothing but all about employees related, and statutory is nothing but everything is related to tax. Okay, when I say non-master data, non-master data is nothing but what? The data which will change with every transactions. Like amount, it will change, correct? Yes or no? Quantity, it will change. Rate, it will change. So all these things where you enter the data manually is known as non-master data. If you remember, I told you that master data is never entered manually, it is always selected from the menus. I also explained you that why we create ledgers first and then we pass the entry. Whereas in accounting, when we do accounting, we pass journal entry first, and based on journal entry, we create ledgers. But it is not possible in accounting software, because if based on journal entry, if the ledgers will be created, then there will be multiple ledgers for the same person because of the spelling change. So the entries will not be stored at one place for the one person, it will be stored at multiple ledgers. So first we create ledgers. Remember, I have given you example: cash account debit to Jignesh account, cash account debit to Jignesh Chheda account, cash account debit to Jignesh K Chheda account. For the same person, 3 ledgers will be created if we go based on accounting concept. But if you create ledger first, like Jignesh account, and when you will pass the entry, directly you will select the Jignesh account. So all the entries will be related to Jignesh will be stored at one place. All these things we have discussed when we were learning tally. Okay, now in exam, if they ask you why master and non-master data, so you need to actually practically show this example. Okay, so you need to write this entry. Yes, you need to write this entry. And then you need to classify like this: master and non-master data. In every transaction there will be two different types, master and non-masters. So if you remember, the things which is not going to change is actually known as what? Master. Like voucher type, debit ledgers, credit ledgers, they are known as masters because they are not frequently changed. But invoice number, amounts, date, narrations, these are known as non-masters because they are going to change with every transactions. Correct? Now after this we have next discussed some important points, and I told you that they can ask such kind of things in MCQ. Like master data is not typed by users. Master data entry is usually done less frequently. Non-master data is typed by the users and not selected from the available list. Sometimes transactional data, if you remember, I also explained transaction data. Remember transaction data, which is if you remember our tally example very well, in that I have explained sales order, then delivery. If you remember, sales order, then delivery note, and from that sales invoice. So we entered some predefined codes to link. Remember, try to remember tally. We entered predefined codes to link sales order to delivery note to sales invoice, and sales invoice to receipt, amount received from the customer. So those are known as transactional data, predefined codes. Okay. Master data is selected from the available list of masters, and I told you that why we select masters, so that all the entries related to one ledgers will be stored at one place. That was the simple logic. Next we have done voucher type, and voucher is nothing but a documentary evidence. In here also we have discussed all these vouchers. Look, contra, payment, receipt, but it's some of the, if you see very well, vouchers I have given MCQ specifically. But in exam, believe me, in exam, in case study based questions, they can frame this explanations. Can you see this use? This use, what is written as use, an explanation in written in each voucher. They can use those explanations for framing the case study based questions. And then they will try say, okay, which vouchers you will use for the above transaction. So you need to understand very well, you need to understand very well, okay, what is the use of each and every vouchers. Okay. And we have already done all these things in detail. Stock journal, physical stock, remember stock journal, to transfer stock from one place to another place. Physical stock, sometimes physical stock and book entry is not matching because of physical stock may get damaged, or it may get stolen. It gets stolen by some employees or someone, thief. So to tally book entry and physical stock, we use physical stock voucher. Okay. Apart from that, memorandum, if you remember memorandum, I told you that sometimes to record temporary entries, temporary amount, we use memorandum vouchers. Okay. These are some specific vouchers which you feel may be difficult to remember, so I'm giving you explanation for those things. And apart from this, voucher numbers, this is a very important thing. Here also they can ask question based on this. You can see MCQ here. Voucher numbers or document numbers are the unique identity of the voucher documents. And then their features: voucher number should be unique, it should be always a serial number, it should always go ahead. Okay, like this. Then there is a diagram, simple how we do accounting manually and in software. So you can see here also they can frame MCQ. I told you that in accounting software, if you remember, we only do transaction and voucher entries. In software, posting, balancing, trial balance, P&L, everything will be done by software. Okay. Then types of ledgers. So obviously we know multiple types of ledgers, but in tally, in accounting software, there are only two types of ledger: debit and credit. Okay. Your asset and expenses will be debit balance, income and liability credit balance, and finally profit and loss and balance sheet may it will go. Okay. And then again some basic points, but this you can ignore, no problem in that. And finally, grouping of ledger. Whenever you create ledger, if you remember again tally, I have created someone's name, but I told you that tally doesn't know what is the nature of that ledger, so you need to explicitly you need to specify whether that ledger is income, expense, asset, liability, and of course further subgroups we have created, correct? But I told you that in Tally we have predefined 28 to 29 groups already they have created. But when you talk about ERP, enterprise resource planning, so when you set up ERP in your organization, first time when you start using ERP, you need to create groups, subgroups depending on your organizational requirements. Okay, but this was only for your knowledge. With this, a concept related to the practical tally which I taught you and the topics which is given in the book will get completed. Okay, but now technical concept will start. I told you that whenever you use any application, there are two aspects. One which is in front of you, that is called front end. User using front end interact with the application, but the data which is stored in the application will be managed by backend. Okay, and as a user you will never able to directly interact with the backend. So what is the cycle? User will interact with front end will interact with backend will give answer to front end, and front end will give answer to user. This is what the basic cycle of your software when you are using the software. And the same concept they have explained us using the another example of when you go to restaurant. So you give order to waiter will pass your order to cook. Okay, cook will give, after cooking the food, it will give it to waiter, and the waiter will give you the food on your table. So this is again another way of explaining you. But based on this example, waiter and cook, they have explained why we require front end and back end separately. Why? So first, domain expertise. Waiter is expert in the service area, cook is expert in which area? Cooking area. Same way, front end is expert in interacting with the users, back end is expert in handling the data, managing the data. Presentation, waiter can present himself in a better way because cook is working in kitchen, so just understand how the cook will look. Same way, front end is responsible for your tables, your graphics, your presentation of the data, not the back end. Back end is only responsible for what? Managing the data, correct? Same way, user experience, it is always front end will give you the experience which you want. Again, user experience means front end should be simple to understand, it should fulfill all the requirements of the user. Again, here back end is only responsible for what? Managing the data. Speed, now understand, if cook and waiter will be same way I have explained in lecture also, if both are same, what will happen? First he will come, he will take your order, then he will run to the kitchen, he will change the clothes, he will cook for you. In between, if someone again call him, he will leave that cooking process half, he will again run towards the customer, he will take the orders, and in that your speed will reduce, he will not able to give the things on time. Cook is separate, waiter is separate. When both are separate, both will work as fast as possible because both will work in their own areas. Waiter will interact with the customers, cook will cook, and waiter will deliver the food to the customer. Same way, front end and back end, if they will be same, then it will put a load on the software and your speed will reduce. That's why they are kept different. And finally, language. Look, always remember, when I say language, it is always front end which is responsible for interacting with the user, and front end will interact with the users in the language user will understand. Backend is not concerned with anything with the users. It is going to use technical language, it is going to store the data, managing the data. So it is front end which should know the language which is known by user also, and the language which is known by backend also. It is like a mediator. Okay, so this is how front end and backend will separate with each other. After this, we have gone with the next topic called application software. Now always understand, here one new topic they have added, which is a very small topic, but I personally feel they might ask a small question on this. Application software internal working. Now understand, here internal working of application software I'm talking about. There are three layers. First, application layer receives input from the users, and then it will check the data whether it is correct or not. If it is correct, then it will transfer it to operating system layer. Now here, don't consider operating system means Windows, Mac. No, look, it is just a name, operating system layer, which means which works, which operates. Okay, it carries this instructions and processes the data, and then it will store the data into database layer, or it will give it to the application layer. So it is operating system layer is mediator between application layer and database layer. Here don't consider this operating system means, oh sir, how Windows will come into application. Don't get confused. English, some words, interpretations, situation, you should understand, correct? Now, so please do remember this three layers of application software. They can ask this small topic for 2 or 3 marks, okay? And then there are three different ways to use the application software. One, Tally, which I have given you an example of Tally. It was installed in my laptop. Remember? Second, the problem, if Tally is installed in my laptop, what will happen? Tell me. What will happen? I can only use Tally if I have a laptop. But in big companies, to reduce the cost of installing the software in every laptop, what they will do, they will create a web server. Okay, they will install the Tally in their web server, and using internet and browser, every employee can access that application. Now this is what web application. Okay, an application which we can access over internet. That's what is known as web application. But here company need to spend amount investment on technology like server, web application, all the necessary infrastructure to give their employees to access over internet. So company thinks, why we should not spend on such kind of technology, because technology is always changing, always it need to upgrade it. So it is better use someone else infrastructure, someone else application which is already there on web, and use for our purpose. And that's what is known as cloud based application. Okay, where your application will be shifted to cloud, and then your employees will access. And in cloud based, chapter number 4, remember, the cost will always be less, because that infrastructure, that application will be shared by multiple users. Now this was the initial explanation of installed, web and cloud based. Now we'll go for difference between installed and cloud application. Now those students who are from November 19, May 19, and if they are looking at this lecture, understand, in your book, old syllabus, May 19, November 19, again old syllabus, I will say like this: installed and web application differentiation is given. Okay, but in May 20 and November 20, they have replaced web based application with cloud based application. Internal explanations are same, but now the difference is between installed and cloud. Okay, so if any old students are watching this video, then they need to make sure that they should correct it, or they should use a latest study material with amendments. Okay, now when you talk about this, I told you that you need to differentiate all the points in advantage or disadvantage form. Remember, I told you. Remember, I told you this advantage and disadvantage. Like for example, installation and maintenance. Install application will be very costly, but cloud-based application will be. It will not be as costly as install application. The cost will be reduced because we are going to use someone else's infrastructure to put our application, and then every users will access over internet. Accessibility, installed, you cannot access from anywhere. You need to carry that laptop. Cloud based, you can access from anywhere. Mobile application, install application will not be able to, you can use from the cell phone, but cloud based you can use from anywhere. But when I talk about data storage and data security, in install application, data is stored in the laptop, so only you can manage and you can access security. But when I talk about cloud based, our data is somewhere else. It is not possible we can manage, or it is possible as data is over internet, anyone can else access it and modify it, like hackers can access and modify it. Correct? Performance, when you talk about performance, install application is always better. You know why? You can instantly access from your laptop. But when I talk about cloud based, it is always based on internet, so the speed of internet is not good, you won't be able to access very fast. And finally, flexibility. Now here they are talking about the cost, again cost perspective. You can see install application have this disadvantage as higher capital expenditure, because you need to manage, you need to do everything. Whereas in, when you talk about cloud based, there is no capital expenditure, there is no maintenance expenditure, because everything will be done by cloud. We will pay rent to the cloud. Chapter 4. Remember chapter 4? So this was the difference between installed and cloud-based application. And when you finish this topic, you will move towards integrated and non-integrated system. When I talk about non-integrated system, in non-integrated, the concept says all the departments of the organization will use same application, but they will create their own database. Separate database will be created by each department. So here the biggest disadvantage will be there will be always mismatch of data. There is no synchronization of the data. There will be a communication gap between the departments. That is what non-integrated. But in today's practical world, very few small, even I will say only small organizations will use this concept. I say very few, very few. Maximum organizations will use concept of integrated system, where all the department will use same application and all the data will be stored at central place. That is what called integrated system. So when you talk about integrated system, the example will comes to your mind is ERP, enterprise resource planning. Okay, now ERP is one of the biggest software concept in accounting. A very famous example of ERP, okay, is SAP. But look, SAP is a German company and they have created ERP software. Like that, Oracle Financials is also there. Yes, there are so many different companies into the field of ERP, because ERP is a concept and all those companies develop such kind of ERP softwares for their own companies and sell it to the customers. Okay, now here again amendment is there, benefits of ERP system. So those old students, please update your benefits, because in your book updates are benefits are different. In new book May 20 November 20 new syllabus updates, benefits are different. Okay, now here if you remember this topic, I told you that most of the points will say same thing. As all the modules, all the departments are integrated with each other. Remember, integrated, it is easy to exchange information. And when it is easy to exchange information, remember I told you that, if you remember very well, information access will be fast, lead time, on time shipment, cycle time. Now there are students who will ask me, so what is the difference between lead time and cycle time? Use your costing subject knowledge, both are same. Lead time and cycle time both are same. I told you at the time of teaching also. This is just a repetition of point, nothing else. Okay, apart from that, improved resource utilization. Now here they have given so many explanations, but try to remember only those points which we have underlined. If you can see, because of integration, inventory is kept at minimum level, machine works fine because we do time to time maintenance of the machines. Better customer satisfaction, because now customer can access our application directly, they can pass the order, they can pay online, they can track everything. Improve supplier performance, because guys, our system is also connected with our suppliers. We can also monitor the supplier performance, how much credit they are giving, their quality of product, everything we can track from our system. Increase flexibility, which means you can access from anywhere. Okay, now reduce quality cost. Now here quality cost in terms of product, because we set all the standards in one place, so there is no repetition of standards in every department. All the department will access the same standards, correct? All the department will access the same standards, so they will follow the standard quality. Okay, they will follow the standard quality, whatever the set standards. So that's why they are saying reduce the quality cost, because not all the department will follow different standards, and coordination is not required because everything is centralized. Better analysis planning capabilities, because all the data is stored in central place, so ERP will give a better knowledge of the business to the top management, and obviously when they get the better knowledge, they can take a best decisions. Information accuracy and decision making. Look, always understand very well, if you input the correct data, if you input correct data, your output will be correct. Always remember, this point is little bit, I'm just explaining accuracy. When you talk about the accuracy of any system, systems always works correctly. It is always users, human beings who do mistakes. So what they are saying, if you input correct data, communication, processing, updates will also correct. Okay, understand this way. And then use of latest technologies. Obviously now you can access your ERP from anywhere. Mobile computing you can use. Cloud client server is nothing but, we install ERP on server and all our clients can access using internet and browser. That is what they are talking about. Okay. After that, a small topic, various features of ideal ERP system. Now this is a very small topic and these are different modules, and these modules here they have given in brief, two lines, one lines. Afterwards all these modules will come in detail in front of you. Okay, so this you can manage on your own. But the biggest point, whenever you are going to use technology, you are always going to face some risk of technology. But always looking at risk, you cannot stop using technology. What we will do, we will implement necessary controls to mitigate those risks. Here also again amendments are there, so old students please alert. Okay, they have given this risk are at different 5 levels: people, process, technology, other implementation, and post implementation issues. But in every category they have given the risk associated and what controls we can implement, like change management. Now understand what you were working and now what you will work. Obviously it is going to change, but you need to handle that change very tactfully. Like you can see the first point, employees job profile. Give proper training to employees. The way in which organization function will change. Obviously initially you might using different softwares or you were using everything manually. Now you are going to use what systems, so it is going to change. Okay, now the scope of the project will change. Of course, scope means what, the way how much you were covered. Look, manually you were covering little bit, but when you use systems you can make cover most of the things. Now second, you can see training, staff turnover. Now training is very small point. Without training, of course, ERP will not be look, success of ERP will always depend on the people, how they are using, management, how they are, how they are approaching the ERP. Now, when I say staff turnover, it is a basic problem of all the companies. It is not a problem only or risk of ERP. Because look, the employees will always change the organization. The only solution to this is either you just motivate your employees by giving compensations, or whenever new employees will come, you just provide trainings, appropriate, training sessions. Then only they will stay. So staff turnover is actually common point. Okay. Now top management, until unless top management will not allow ERP, it is going to fail. So obviously, after getting permission from the top management, you should start implementation of ERP. And consultants, now the expert who is going to come to your company, understand, very important, they don't know about your company. So what you're supposed to do, you appoint a one person who knows everything about the company, and that one person will help expert to understand your company's environment, so you can better implement ERP. That is what they are talking about. Okay, apart from first people risk, now you can see process risk. Now program management, there could be a possibility of information gap between day-to-day program management activities and ERP enabled functions. What I told earlier, we were doing everything manually. Now we are going to do everything on system basis. So what you're supposed to do, when you convert from manual to technology based, there should not be this information gap. This should be covered properly. So you can smoothly convert everything from manual to computerized. Business process re-engineering, there is possible that some process you are going to change right from the basics, scratch. So you understand, you need to understand your entire process. Some processes, the old processes will change and the new processes will come, but understand this new processes should be as per requirement of the business. Okay, and for that you need to understand your business very well. Then technology risk, software functionality. Look, ERP will comes with lot of software functionalities, but what we supposed to do, simple, we should not take all the functionalities, we should only select those functionalities which is required for our business. Technological obsolescence, now there is no solution to this. Simple, you create ERP system, you create a ERP, select a ERP system which is helpful, or you can time to time you can upgrade those ERP system, so it will not become obsolete. Like for example, when I buy a laptop, I always buy a laptop in such a way that I can upgrade that laptop in the future as per my requirement. Okay, that is what technology upsells and enhance and upgrades. Select now, for example, right now I'm using OnePlus. Okay, but the limitation of OnePlus is, you know what, there is no expandable memory. So once my memory is full, what I supposed to do? I need to delete, some old stuff. I need to shift some data to my laptop. So next time when I will buy a soft laptop, sorry, cell phone, like for example, any, whether it is Samsung or anything, I will make sure that apart from two SIM card, there is an extra memory slot in that cell phone should be there. So in the future, I can upgrade my memory. This is what the solution. Application portfolio management. You should restrict the number of applications which you are using in your organization, because the more number of application, more integration problems. So always remember, keep only those applications which is essential for your business. That is what application portfolio management. Okay. Other implementation, lengthy implementation time. Obviously sometimes ERP will take 1 to 4 years. So what you're supposed to do, you should make sure that your momentum is high. You should be enthusiastic. Now you can see I'm just giving you one simple example. Okay, now today we kept live lecture. Okay, and I think in Yashes there are more than 600 students, correct? But when it will take time, you need to motivate your students. Now in this pandemic, one exam is cancelled, November exam looks uncertain, correct? So we need to make our students motivated that don't worry, exam will be there. Now this is, and you should study, you should not think of any other factors. This will benefit you, you just study and the study will give you benefits in appearing in exams. This is how you need to understand. Okay, now next concept we are doing is insufficient funding. Until unless you have a required budget, don't start the project only. If you don't have a budget, don't start. You have a budget from the top management, then only start. It should not be like this, you start and finally management will say we will not give you more funds. Then there is no meaning. Data access, data safety, one of the very important thing, because when the data is centralized stored, understand access restrictions you should implement. Data safety is nothing but backup of data should be there, because if some disaster occurs, you will lose all your data because it is stored at one place. Okay, speed of operations, as the data will increase at a central place, that big data problem will come. So what you're supposed to do, upgrade the hardware or delete the redundant data, correct? Last, system failure. This is again nothing but, if you read this point along with this point, you will understand it is a redundancy point. Redundant. A commerce student, when we don't know new points, what we do, we repeat the points with the different explanation, correct? Now we'll proceed further. Sorry. Next, apart from this, last, post implementation issue. It is again nothing but, look, when you set up the ERP, it is not lifelong. Same thing will be, upgrades will come, hardware software upgrades will come, training to employees will come. But look, always remember, it's same thing. When you are selecting CA, you know that even once you become a CA, you need to upgrade your knowledge and nothing else. You need to maintain the momentum of everything. Okay, you just see the solution, nothing else. You always motivate your employees, you motivate yourself despite so many updates. And as a CA, we are habitual now. We know that every year tax will change, GST will come, some amendments in Companies Act. But now we know that we need, we should make ourselves, motivated, that everything we will do it. Okay, so these are new topic. After this, role-based access control. Role-based access control is nothing but, always give privileges based on the roles. Manager will get higher privileges, clerk will get lower privileges. Okay, now next, types of access. This is again related to Tally, what different permissions which we give. But a small question they can frame here, please remember this small question. And finally, how will you do audit of ERP? Certain questions they have given. Try to remember maximum, I will not say all questions, but try to select at least 70 to 80%. These are again self explanatory, and then they have to summarize the audit aspect. Once you complete this, the next thing will start, business process modules. I told you that business is not the definition of what you say, commercial activity or buying and selling of goods. Business is actually a collection of different process: purchase, sales, marketing, remember, manufacturing, see our customer relation management, supply chain management, production. All things will come together, and then your business will, is just main heading. It's just a main heading business. And I always say that whenever you want to implement technology, you never implement or integrate technology into business. It is always integrated into process. So to understand business, first you need to understand the process. That's why this topic is given business process. But again, the topic is very simple and small. You can complete. Obviously, when I say business process, process means well-defined beginning, well-defined end, series of steps that you need to understand. They have given one small example of accounting or bookkeeping cycle, which is always again self-explanatory. And once you complete this, the next thing will come is nothing but ERP business process modules. Now, again, going before for ERP, you need to understand there are three types of business: trading, manufacturing, and service. Trading, buying goods, selling goods. Manufacturing, buying raw material, making into finished goods, and then selling. And then service, which right now what we are doing is a service business. And every business has their own requirements of the modules. But right now, what we are going to discuss is some of the common modules, okay, which almost every organization will use. Like first, if you see first, financial accounting module. Now here it is nothing but whatever, obviously financial is nothing but tracking of money. So whatever the money related transactions happening in any part of the organizations will get recorded in financial accounting module, correct? Now in every module you will get some kind of key features of that module. Again, you will say, sir, there are so many features in every module, how should we remember? I told you at the time of lecture also, use your brain, try to select easiest point first. If I talk about finance, if I talk about finance, so which means tax, payable, receivable, assets, common words, common words. Try to remember these common words first, understood? And then go for some tougher ones. Now there are so many points, sir. How many points I remember? Again, I told you there is no standard for this. How many points? It always depend on what marks. So based same question they can ask for 4 mark also. Same question they can ask for 6 mark also. So you should prepare any question from the 6 marks point of view only, where you remember maximum points. I will not say all points, but I am saying something is better than nothing. Try to remember maximum points. Okay, so it will help you to get good marks even if it is asked for 6 mark or it is asked for 4 mark. Okay, now after this financial, you will get next controlling module, where it controls everything: cost, benefits. And again, I told you that all these points are related to your costing subject, because in every business we always discuss two things: cost and benefit. And once you know the relation between cost and benefits, you know everything in your business, correct? So again, here there is no some typical points which you will not understand. I have given you explanation for everything. After controlling, you will get sales and distribution module, where all the activities right from marketing till the ultimate product is delivered and customer services will be covered. Now here you have two questions. One, explain the key features of sales and distribution module, and another is the entire process. If you remember the first point, organizational structure, I have already explained this organizational structure in financial module. If you remember, creation organizational structure, I told you that in ERP nothing comes predefined. ERP like an empty software, and you need to define everything. Here also I have given an example of my company. If you remember, sorry, here again, remember, I have created example of that my company JC Limited. If you remember, it is company. Then if you remember, fashion, and cosmetics. I have a three different divisions. Now these are known as company code. Like this bifurcations and entire diagram I have given. And I told you that this is only for understanding point of view. But in future, when you will start your articleship, when you join a big companies which are using ERP, at that moment of time, you will practically see company codes, their sales organization, their plants, everything is created in the ERP first, and then they start entering the data based on this particular structure. Okay. So this is what known as organizational structure. But don't worry, you just try to remember simple way. Okay. And features, again, small points, nothing much. This process, if you remember, I told you that you should remember in order. First, pre-sales activity is nothing but the marketing, identifying the customers and talking with them. Then they will give you the order. Then you will check whether you have available stock or not, inventory sourcing. Now here, what MCQ they will create, not on main sequence. They will internal explanations, they will give you any of the internal explanations, and then they will tell what what is the part of this activity. It is pre-sales activity, or it is sales order, or it is inventory sourcing. Like for example, okay, company XYZ Limited received an order, and now they are making arrangement for delivery of goods. They are making an arrangement for delivery of goods. Look at the inventory sourcing part and their explanation. So understand, when you are reading in such a way that conceptually you should remember. I will not say you should remember each and every word, but concept you should remember. Okay, what you are learning is in which part. Okay. Then finally you will deliver the material, you will give the invoice, and based on that you will receive the money from the customer. That is what the entire process of sales and distribution. Okay. Now next, human resource model was very simple. Everything related to employees, all the data related to employees, their attendance, their wages, their trainings, everything will come here. Okay. Then production planning module. Basically, if you remember, I told you that production planning module is the module which actually coordinates with all other modules. The main work of production planning is to coordinate with all other modules. Okay. As a sales order will receive the order from the customer, immediately it will try to check whether we have available stock or not in our godowns. If it is not available, production module will immediately tell the production module, or you can say material management module, material management, that issue material to the production department, so the production will start. Then that goods will go to the godown. Production module planning module, PP module, will again tell the godowns to deliver that goods to customer. All these coordinations will be done by production planning module. And not only that, it will also store a different data, like master data related to different products, their raw materials. You can see sales and operational planning provides ability to forecast sales and production. So it will receive the different data from the different modules, and based on that it will do the planning. So these all things, master data, SOP, DRP, production planning, MRP, capacity planning, all different data will be captured from the different sources, and based on that planning will be done. Now again, old syllabus students, this is amendment. Okay. Yes, this part may not be there in your book, so please remember, this is a new part. Next, we are going for material management, which is nothing but a module which will make sure that raw material should be time to time captured. But people don't understand. They feel that material management is only responsible for raw material. No, material management module is responsible for procurement of raw material. Second, it is also responsible for procuring administration stationery. Yes, for the administration department. It is also responsible for purchasing or procuring raw material, you can say oil, consumables, spare parts for the plant and maintenance department. So look, plant and maintenance department cannot directly purchase the required parts or consumables. They need to tell to material management department, and then material management module will do the needful. Okay. And again, it will have a same process, that requisition come, evaluations, quotations, when pass the order, then the goods will be received, then it is issued to the respected departments, and then they will receive the invoices, and then they will release the payment to the vendor. Same process will come here in front of you. Again, same, try to remember the sequence also. Then quality management. Now quality management module is one of the very important module for managing the quality. In today's practical world, all the customers will require the product quality. But look, how will you achieve the quality, product quality, when you will actually integrate quality management in your manufacturing process while developing the product. Okay, so look, you can see for that you need quality planning, quality control, quality assurance, and the most important, never say I have achieved 100% quality. Quality is a continuous process. You can see quality improvement, it's a continuous never ending process. Now, when we are teaching, we never say we are teaching the best. Every batch, every year will always teach us something. Yes, teach us something, and we always try to improve. Now, this pandemic taught each and every faculty how to take online lectures. Now, this is what the best part. They have improved themselves. Now they will improve more, because once they understand the process of online teaching, then they try to improve something more. Okay, and apart from this, you will find the standard features of quality management. Then plant and maintenance module, which is also one of the very important module, because in manufacturing company there are so many machineries and their maintenance are also important. Correct. Now for maintenance, what is important? Their timings of maintenance, their spare parts required, consumable required, everything, all this data will be properly recorded by this plant and maintenance department. Okay, and here also there's some amendments came, small lines and paragraphs, which is again easy and manageable. Okay, now then system module. Now project system module is not actually related to every company. This is related to those companies who works on order basis, contractual basis, like printing press company. Now printing press, they never print same thing again and again. They get the contract from the different customers, and based on those contracts, they go for cost, their raw material requirement, the time delivery, based on the contract which is they are receiving. So project system is not applicable for every company. Okay, supply chain module, very important. Supply chain is nothing but getting the required product from the suppliers, vendors, and tracking everything. As you track the requirement of your raw material, correct. Now based on supply chain, understand when I say supply chain, how your goods are reaching from manufacturer to customer. So manufacturer to distributor, then distributor to wholesaler, then wholesaler to retailer, and then ultimately to reach to consumer. Now this is supply chain. Okay, now understand, initially this chain was manual, the tracking of orders from each other. Like for example, suppose I'm just giving one example. Suppose if I am distributor, okay, so I receive the order from wholesaler and then I pass that order to manufacturer, but everything was manual. Now everything is what? Online. Why online? Because volume is large. When the volume is large, it is important that you should connect this entire chain with the technology. Now what is the benefit of this chain? You will understand the requirement of product, you will understand the order process, you will understand the quality of goods required from the customer required, and based on that you will pass order to the next chain member. Now suppose if I am a retailer, then retailer is the person who will directly contact with the customer. Correct. So retailer will get the knowledge, okay, what customer required. Now retailer will pass that knowledge to wholesaler, wholesaler will pass that information to distributor, distributor will pass that information to manufacturer. Correct. So this is what supply chain concept is all about. And finally, understanding your customer is very much important nowadays. That is what customer relationship management. Okay, customer is always right, so you should know your customer in a better way, understand their requirements, and if you understand the requirements of the customer, you will give better product to the customers, you will create better marketing strategies. Correct. Better internal communication and better information will be exchanged internally. So one department will exchange information with another department, and the another department will also get the benefit of that customer information. Like for example, if you open your account in any bank, okay, then what bank will do, that account department will do, share that information to credit card department. So you will get a call from the credit card department. Sir, as you have opened your account in our bank, so we are offering a credit card. They will also transfer your data to the which department? Loan department. But look, all this data cannot be manual, all this information sharing cannot be manual, all this decision cannot be manual. So when you are interacting with the customers and you are gaining the understanding of the customers, now for that also we have a separate system called customer relationship management, a separate module. It will store all this customer data, customer knowledge into module, and then we use those informations to get the benefits. Okay, so you can see explain the benefits: improved customer relation, you can provide better service to customer, increase customer revenue, because when you use CRM you are providing better services, your customer will be happy, they will inform the other customer, other customers, mouth publicity. Maximize upselling and cross selling. When you understand your customer better way, you can increase their budget. I told you upselling is nothing but increasing the budget of the customer. Cross selling is nothing but when he's buying a shirt, tell him to buy tie, tie, correct? That is called cross selling. Better internal communication. I to give you the example of bank. If you open your data account in bank, then they will transfer data to the credit card department, so they can also take the advantage of this customer information. Optimize marketing, the most important thing. If you see very carefully, Amazon and Flipkart, now they always give that big billion day or customers happy days, of on what basis they will come to know that, okay, now we should offer this particular discount policies to the customer. So they are understanding the customer's behavior very well. Okay, just understand malls. Initially in Mumbai, if you know, in Mumbai there are so many malls. Okay, so many malls are there, but the customers, who purchase from the mall are very few. So initially they used to go for only one time, yearly, what you can say, sale. Once in a year sale was coming. But now they know that most of the people purchase only when sale is there. Now 5 times in a year, different, after every different season, they will go for sale, and they keep for 7 days, 8 days, 10 days. And in this 5 times sales which they announce, they actually cover the entire year revenue. Now this is what the benefit of customer understanding. When you store data, when you analyze those data, you will come to know when to do marketing, how to improve your marketing to the customer. Okay, with this all your modules are getting over. And then there is a small topic called integration of modules. I told you that modules are something like a different parts of the body, like brain, lungs, kidney. Every part has a different function, but they need to do coordinate with each other. Every part of the body has a different function. Heart has a different function, lung has a different function, kidney has a different function, liver has a different function, but then they need to coordinate as a one system. Same way, all modules, even if they have a different functions, but they need to coordinate with each other. Coordinate. If you understand this concept, you will able to understand integration topic very well. I told you that this topic cannot be mug up. Now understand, look, material management integration with finance and controlling. Now how material management will integrate with finance? Use your brain. Material management is responsible for purchasing of raw material. So they can purchase the raw material, but understand who will pay. So material management need to pass that information to finance that we have purchased raw material, and then finance will take accounting of that purchase of raw material, and then they will release payment to vendors. Human resource with finance. Now finance department doesn't know how many employees are working, what is the salary of employees, basic, TDS, sorry, what you can see, provident fund, HRA, correct? So human resource management will keep track of all the information related to employees, their salaries, their basic pay, their DNS allowance, everything, and then they will pass that information to finance, and finance will release the salary to employees. So this is how all different modules will interact with each other. Now this topic you cannot mug up, you need to conceptually understand this topic. Okay, now once you finish with this topic, you will get a reporting system and management information system, which is very simple. MIS is nothing but a system which is required by the companies to get the defined reports, and based on that reports they will understand the internal operations of the company. Always remember, MIS is always for internal operations of the company. Okay, now here they may ask a question, what is MIS and who is using the MIS? Or there is another topic, when you create MIS report, what are the different factors you should consider? Here I told you the keyword is star, correct? Structured. Information should be arranged in such a way that it is easy for management to understand, accurate, 100% correct, timely. They don't want wow, very fast. They want recent information. Based on that, they can take decisions. Relevant. Now, right now, I'm teaching EIS subject. So I should speak to related to EIS. If I start speaking about costing or if I start talking about accounts, now it is not relevant to you. I should not speak. I should speak related to EIS. Understood? And finally, two topics: data analytics and business intelligence. Some people may find this topic little bit difficult, but understand the basic. I told you while teaching also, data analytics and business intelligence are actually related to chapter number 3, data warehouse concept, big data concept. I told you that when the data will grow, it will be difficult to analyze the data. So one of the solution is data warehouse, extract the important data to data warehouse. But data warehouse is also one form of database only. So in that case, I told you that we require different techniques, concepts, which will extract the data from data warehouse and provide useful information to management. So data analytics and business intelligence are two concepts which actually uses a different software, different softwares to extract the data from the data warehouse and provide useful information to the management for taking decisions. Now, this is what the main aspect of data analytics and business intelligence. Both are concepts or tools to extract useful informations from the data warehouse. Okay. Now, if you remember this concept very well, you will able to understand the rest of the topic of data analytics and business intelligence. Now, here another concept: interpretation English problem, types of data analytics application. Here data analytics application means not software. Here application means use. If you remember this now, interpretation, use, now rest of the explanations are very easy for you. Now this is what important in EIS: correct interpretation, not only in EIS, in every subject. But right now, obviously, I will talk about the EIS. Okay. Now after this, you will get business intelligence. Same concepts, same almost. You will feel that points are also similar. Here also they have added a topic called benefits of business intelligence. But if you read, you will only understand one important thing: it will help the management to take the correct decisions. And if you read, there is no technical point in this benefits of business intelligence. Okay. But it is a separate topic, separate question, which may they ask for 4 mark or 3 mark in your exam. Okay. Now business reporting and fundamentals of Xbrl. Business reporting is nothing but to present the contents to the management so that they can take the decisions. That is what business reporting. Okay. And why business reporting is important? Only one very important: business reporting are important to people. One is management, another is stakeholders. Management to take decisions, stakeholders to take decisions whether they should invest or not. This is what the main important part of that 4 points. If you understand business reporting is important from two aspects, management and stakeholders, you will understand all 4 points. Okay. And finally, we are going for fundamentals of Xbrl. Now here I have given you the main concept. If you remember, I'm again helping you to remember the concept. Okay. If US want to invest in India, remember, or they want to invest in Germany, or in Sri Lanka, or in Dubai, or in Japan, or vice versa. The problem is, any company, when they want to invest in another country, in another company, they need to understand their financial positions. But the problem is, even we are using generally accepted accounting principles, the way we are representing the financial terms in our reports are different in different countries. Financial terms represented in financial reports are different. So if US company want to invest in Indian company, then they need to understand the financial report. financial report is Indian format, then first they need to convert that Indian format into the US format, and then only they can understand the financial position of the Indian company. And this is not only with US and India. Now same US company want to invest in Sri Lanka, same US company want to invest in Japan, same US company want to invest in Dubai or Germany or Australia or anywhere. Every time they need to convert those things, which is taking time. It is a similar concept. I know Gujarati, you know Kannada, you know Tamil, you know other languages. The problem is I don't know your language, you don't know my language. Every time if I need to understand your language, I need to, translator who will translate your language to my language to your language. Too much confusion. Better option is create a common language through which everyone can communicate with each other. Like right now we are communicating with each other in English irrespective of our mother tongue. My mother tongue is Gujarati, your mother tongue will be maybe Kannada or Marwadi or Telugu or Tulu, different, but we all are speaking right now, communicating with each other because of English common language. Same way, for common reporting standard all over world, international, XBRL is invented. Now XBRL is nothing but the collection of all the common accounting terms. Now, when you use common accounting, international common accounting terms, then there is no need to convert the language of the reporting, understand, from one format to another format. So now all the countries are using the same standards to prepare the reports. So it will be easy for other countries to read that reports without any conversions. Okay. Now, here also I have explained you how they are actually doing. If you remember in Xbrl tagging, this was the main concept. Okay, if you remember, I'm just showing you just a second. I will show the diagram also. I'm changing the screen. Okay, I'm going for whiteboard. Now try to remember, I told you that, remember balance sheet, then we write fixed assets, investments, current assets. Remember, then I told you that in Xbrl we have a collection of common words, and that collection is known as taxonomy. When you click, you don't have to do anything manually, guys. Everything is predefined in your system. When you click now convert into Xbrl, the process will initiate it, correct? And again a new statement will come, same balance sheet, same fixed asset, but along with fixed asset a tag will appear. This is what known as tag, and this tag is nothing but the common word from taxonomy. Remember, common word from taxonomy, accounting word. Okay, and this process is known as tagging. In this process, every word which is appearing in your report will have that common word from taxonomy. And because of this common word along with your report, your words, any country, suppose US company or Germany company or Japan company, they will able to understand the financial terms in a common language, and they will able to analyze your financial position. Understood? This diagram I have given in my lecture also, guys. I hope you remember this. And back to our theory again. So that was Xbrl tagging, and here we have a topic of tagging, and then who uses, remember, regulator, companies, then try to remember government, data providers. Remember data providers, credit rating agencies, they will take the information and based on that they give ratings to the company. Analysts are nothing but CA, CFA. Investors are nothing but foreign investors. I have given every explanation with this. And finally you went for the next topic called features of Xbrl, which is again normal topic which you can manage yourself. What was important was the concept of Xbrl was important, correct? And finally we are going for applicable regulatory compliance requirement. Here common thing is you need to understand, whenever you prepare financial statements you need to follow the rules and regulations. but now you are doing all the accounting in system, so obviously all the compliance requirement will also be in system. Now what they are saying, by large we classify compliance and regulatory requirements in two types, general and specific, applicable to all irrespective of anything like income tax. Specific, applicable to specific type business only, like GST is not applicable to everyone, correct? And then what they are saying, whatever requirements, regulatory requirements, they are always comes from the accounting system, so they are always closely connected. So there are two aspects, accounting and tax compliance will be together in same software. There is another aspect, accounting software will be different and tax compliance software will be different. Yes, most of the organizations will prefer accounting and tax software together so that their work will be faster. But some organizations will say no, our accounting software will be different and our tax software will be different. So they have just given us a differentiation. If you use accounting and tax together, what is the benefit and disadvantage? If you use accounting different and tax software different, then what is advantage and disadvantage? Okay, so you can see here accounting and tax compliance software together and only tax compliance software. Now first they are saying ease of operation. So what they are saying, less, because accounting and tax are integrated, so any change in accounting also affect the tax. But when I say only tax software, they are saying more ease of operation because it is only for tax purpose. Features and facilities, again think from the tax point of view, compliance point of view. So in accounting and tax obviously there will be less features, and in tax only software there will be obviously more features because it is only created for tax purpose. Time and efforts required, here they are saying less, as accounting and tax are together, immediately once accounts are prepared, tax will also prepared. But when I say accounting and tax are separate, so guys you need to shift your data from accounting to tax, correct, which will take time. Accuracy, here they are saying accuracy will be more. Why accuracy will be more? Because they are data together, integrated. But in accounting and tax you need to go for what, reconciliation, because both are different softwares. But again if you think from the cost point of view, again understand here what they are saying, in accounting and tax together, there are always less features related to tax, so you need to spend cost to get more features. Whereas in tax software they are saying cost will be less because all the features related to tax will be already there. Now understand and read very carefully. Look here what's saying, more, if tax compliant features are not available in accounting, then we need to customize those features, because the features which you require, if it is not there, then you need to spend cost to get those features. But in tax related software almost all features will be there, correct? So with this, our chapter number 2 revision is also over. I tried my best to get all the topics in our revision. Okay. So here we are completing our revision and today's session. Okay. So thank you very much those who have attended. These lectures will also upload it on YouTube. Okay.